Oh, what a confession. Okay.
That's the name
I
of
found
the
it very
feature.
difficult because I've had a largely blameless life, but I have searched back and thought quite hard about this. And this is really this is the 12-year-old me, and this is 1974, a thing that I've never told my parents. I don't think they're going to mind, but anyway. So 1974 was a different era, wasn't it? It was a time of terrible haircuts and terrible clothes, and it was also a time of austerity. And my family didn't have an enormous amount of money. So it was also a world where you had to make things last. So you had to make clothes last, and you mended things, and you didn't spend your time as a parent going to the post office, sending clothes backwards and forwards that your daughter had bought or sold, and then never being paid back for the postage. That just didn't happen. And this time of austerity kind of manifested itself in many ways. So on one occasion, my mother decided my jeans were too short, or I decided my jeans were too short. So she decided to extend my jeans. And you would normally put an extra bit of material, perfectly all right, at the bottom of the leg of your trousers, wouldn't you? My mother didn't do that. She read Family Circle magazine, which, as we know, is what all the young people read. And she decided the best thing to do was to insert a small bit of ribbon in the middle of my thigh. It was the same colour ribbon, but she spent days making these trousers. Like, I could never wear them. I always felt terribly guilty about them. It was also Christmas, this is all for context, where I was desperate to have this game called Battling Tops. It was advertised on the telly, and you fired a spinning top into the middle of a garishly coloured bowl, and the last spinning top to fall won, and all that kind of stuff. And I sort of knew in my mind I was never going to get this thing because it was too expensive. And I was aware that in the shed, my dad was sawing and drilling. Something was happening. And on Christmas Day, he presented me, not with Battling Tops, but with a shove halfpenny board, which is... It's the most boring of all pub games. It is a game that it doesn't even appeal to people who are more boring and even older than I am. It's not a thing for a 12-year-old boy for Christmas. I always felt very guilty because I was never able to disguise the disappointment that I felt. But this is all for context. The actual story is this: it's about shoes. Because there was a thing that, you couldn't get new things until the old things had worn out, right? And my 12-year-old self said to my mum, please, can I have a pair of these shoes called Nature Trek from Clark's? Oh, yes. Right? Which were they were like a Cornish pasty. They were known as the Cornish pasty, colloquially. And I managed to sell these to my mother. She would buy them for me because they had a sole that never wore out. And I thought, this is fine because my feet are growing. I'm going to grow out of these shoes within a year, right? I stopped growing. I had 8.5, my shoes. What? Yeah.
You're an 8.5?
I know, 8.5. They stopped growing when I was 12 years old.
I'm nearly that.
Yeah. You're 8.5. That's amazing. Anyway, they just wouldn't... I stopped growing. So I had these shoes for a year. I thought, surely the soles are going to wear out. No. 2 years? No. Into their third year, you cannot wear shoes for 3 years without getting new shoes. And I thought, they're not going to wear out. I'm going to have to wear them out somehow. But I cannot tell my parents. So what I did was I got a baking tray. I turned the oven up to 200 degrees, and I put the shoes in the oven. And it sort of worked. It vaguely melted the shoes, but not enough. So I then took the shoes out, let them cool down, took them out to the same shed my dad had made the shove halfpenny board in, and I attacked them with my dad's Black & Decker drill. And I then, at the end of that day, I presented them to my mum and I said, I've no idea how this has happened.
Can I please have new shoes?
Can I have new shoes? And she bought me new shoes. And that is my confession.
And they knew nothing about that until
I don't think they know about that.
Okay.
And they won't know about it even now, because frankly, they don't listen to this programme.
Are they...
I tell you what they listen to. They listen to the Now Show on Radio 4. So, 6:30 on a Friday night.
You can get that as a podcast, so you don't need to listen to it like this. Anyway, let's get a verdict then. Let's find out whether people are going to forgive Hugh or not. Joe Wiley.
Oh, Fred wants to speak.
Well, I was just going to say I absolutely forgive you because, and I'd like to echo the thoughts and feelings of everybody in BBC management who, when you said it was 1974 and it was a different era, really had a bit of a seizure. So you could have said anything after that about your clothing and you would have been totally forgiven. Okay? Joe?
Yeah, obviously forgiven just for the shove halfpenny board because nobody would have wanted that and the disappointment, so no, it's completely forgiven.
Bobby Pryor?
Oh, I feel for Hugh. I wanted Buckaroo and I never got anything. And I just wanted Buckaroo so badly. I feel for you. And I actually once did wear my shoes out by riding my bike and dragging my feet along the floor. So I feel your pain. I forgive you too.
But as far as our audience are concerned, do you forgive Hugh? If you do, you cheer, and if you don't, you boo, and you do it now.
He is absolved.
See, they're not going to inflict that on their children, these people.
Consider yourself forgiven. Hugh, thank you very much.